What is going on, Tiger fans? So, video is going to be kind of shorter today. Not much to really talk about with the series with KC. So let's jump on into it. In game one, it was postponed. So that's all there is to talk about that game. About 6:30, they pulled the tarp on the field. It was weird because I was outside playing catch, and I live I think 15 miles away from Comerica Park. I'm only about a 25-minute drive, 20-minute drive, depending on traffic from Comerica. And clouds were rolling in, and it was kind of warm, and it's started lightly sprinkling. Come inside, to just watch the end of the pregame show, and they had the tarp on the field. And it was raining pretty consistently, but the radar showed that the rain was not going to clear up any of the slightest bit to even think about playing this game. So they postponed it, and Scherzer and Wade Davis' start got pushed up a day. So Scherzer comes out, and he pitched pretty good. All besides, he had one bad inning where the wheels kind of fell off. It was after the Tigers gave him 4 runs in an inning, and he sat for a long time. And he ended up throwing 39 pitches in one inning because he only went 5 innings, and he was in shape to go about 7 going into the 5th inning with his pitch count. But the wheels fell off there. His command eluded him some. He didn't look like he did against Seattle. His changeup command wasn't as good as it was the other day. Same with his slider command. He was missing a little bit trying to throw that slider for strikes sometimes in the count, and his changeup command wasn't as good, but the stuff was still pretty nasty. Fastball command eluded him a bit in the 5th as well as the other ones. But, when you sit down for a really long time, if your team scores you a bunch of runs, and it was cold, it's hard to stay loose. Mitch Williams even said this, that he hated when his team would go out there for a very long inning. When he had to go back out there and pitch, he would hope for a 1-2-3 inning because of how hard it is sometimes to get back in your groove when he had to go out there and pitch the 9th inning. So it makes sense, it really does. But the Tigers got the win, and the return of the Potato Head came. Valverde came out, and they said he lost 25 pounds. I still think he looks kind of fat, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not one to talk because I'm a lard ass pretty much, but I'm not afraid to admit it. But he still looked kind of fat, and but that's no big deal. His velocity was he hit 95 a couple times. He was sitting from anywhere from 93 to 95 on the gun. But he threw none but straight fastballs. That was it. The command with the fastball looked pretty good. He was shooting for the corners, and he was staying away from the middle of the plate a lot, which was good because that's what you want to see. He was hitting the corners, and he set the Royals down 1-2-3. And the only thing I didn't like about his debut was that he didn't throw any splitters. All I heard about when he was in spring camp was all about all his splitters. It's came back and it's looked really good. It's like the nasty split when he first came over from the Astros, and he didn't throw any of them. I know it was cold that night, and sometimes it's harder to grip your breaking pitches in the cold, and they don't break as much. But you can only get away with just throwing straight fastballs for so long before hitters, because if you don't mix speeds and change pitches, hitters are just going to go up there and go, all right, well, this guy just throws nothing but fastballs. I can sit dead red, and as soon as he remotely leaks one over the plate, I'm going to hit a home run. That's what's going to happen. Start mixing an off-speed pitch or throwing his two-seamer fastball again. Almost looked like he was throwing a cutter with the grip. When I saw him throw, they were showing his fastball grip. I don't know if it's how he grips his four-seam, but it looks like he was almost throwing like a cutter with the way he was throwing it. But it didn't break too much, so I wasn't sure. Maybe it's just the way he grips his four-seamer. But no here, no there. He got out, came out, had a save. First chance, first opportunity, set him down 1-2-3. Didn't walk anyone, didn't strike out anyone. The fastball velocity looked better. He had a stupid-looking goatee, but that's about it. So can't complain there. And a lot of people dogged when Valverde got called back up, and they signed that deal. It's like, I don't get it. Jose Valverde has more saves, less blown saves than Mariano Rivera does in the last 3 seasons. Now, I know you go, well, Rivera missed the whole season. Yeah, that makes it even more impressive that he still has less blown saves over the last 3 years than Mariano Rivera, while Rivera was injured and not able to blow any more saves. So he could still, and Valverde played all last year. People think that just because Valverde blows 3 to 5 saves a year, he's bad. No. Even Rivera blows 5 saves a year. Look at Kimbrel, he just blew a save. It's like, the Tigers just signed this guy for dirt cheap. If he pitches well, you just got to close it for nothing. If he pitches like shit, you can get rid of him. That's simply it's it. And for people to dog him as much, well, he sucks. It's like, no, he's not he had 2 bad months last year. He started out awful. He was bad in September. No, he was good in September and then bad in the playoffs. If you look at his ERA by month, he only had a couple months last year where his ERA was over 3, which was July, March, and then the playoffs. So I don't know what people were dogging him for. He's been pretty good as a closer. He's 7-12 career lifetime, 3 ERA. His WHIP is a tad high. I'll give you that at 1.3. But he has 111 saves, 118 chances. He gets it done almost all the time. So I'm not opposed to that at all, bringing him back. So then yesterday came about, and Tigers came out to an early lead. Verlander only gave up 1 earned run yesterday. He came out of the game with some thing on his thumb, some, I don't know what it is, skin peeled up or whatever, but it's no big deal. He's not going to miss a start, a couple days, let it heal up, he'll be all good. He was really efficient. He probably would have went 8 innings if it wasn't for that, which would have been better. Bruce Rendon made his major league debut after that, and he didn't look bad. He was hitting over 100 on the gun, but it's a secondary stuff needs to work on because guys are in the big leagues because they can't hit the fastball. And just to keep throwing nothing but fastballs, you're going to get lit up. He allowed 2 base runners per appearance in spring training this year. So he allowed a lot of base runners, and he's going to have to limit that if he ever wants to be a closer or even a setup man in this league because you got to learn to get guys out with that secondary pitch. Like Benoit, he's been really, really good as a setup man for the Tigers. He's got that great fastball. He can throw a slider. It's not amazing, but he can get people with it. And he's got that equalizer changeup, that Vulcan change is what he calls it, but it's nasty, really nasty. It's almost like a split, but a changeup. And, if Rendon's going to be effective, he's got to learn to throw that slider for strikes. I noticed it had a bit more tilt on it than it looked like it did in spring training. And it was more in the strike zone because when he was throwing it in spring training, it wasn't even close to touching the zone. This time it looked like he was being able to throw it to the outside a bit more, but it's got to be a bit sharper in a bit better location because just throwing your fastball, you're not going to get anywhere in the big leagues because you will get hit up. But for a major league debut, he didn't look bad at all. But he did allow the tying run to come in, and they go to the 10th inning, and then the wheels fall off. Phil Coke comes out, just absolutely pitiful. I mean, he is probably my least favorite player. I cannot stand Phil Coke anymore. And for all the idiots that say make him closer, this is why you don't make him closer. He can't get out right-handers. He's not even getting out lefties anymore. His command just is just awful, horrific sometimes. It was not pretty. He loads the bases. Darren Downs, gives up a grand slam to Alex Gordon. It was over. That's all it was. But what are you going to do? So they took a split in the series. I don't know when they're making up the game. I'd imagine it's sometime mid-season. So let's move on to the Braves series. Tonight, I'm going down to Comerica Park to see the Atlanta Braves. And boy, the Braves are a great team, man. They're out to one of the best starts in the NL. Them and the Rockies, actually. You got the Upton brothers. Jay Upton has, I think, 11 home runs. Justin has already. Jason Hayward, an outstanding player. Freddie Freeman's a great player. I like Anderson Simmons. He's a great young player. We get to see B.J. Upton, even though I saw him last year when he was on the Rays. Evan Gattis, he's been off to a great start so far, filling in for Brian McCann. Maybe G-Money will play for them because I know he played the other night for the Braves, and he's playing pretty good so far. And another pitching staff's good. Paul Maholm, he's been pitching great. Medlin's a great pitcher. I have all the respect in the world for Tim Hudson and Craig Kimbrell. Johnny Venters. Just I like their squad a lot. I have a lot of respect for the Braves, and they have a great team. I mean, I truly respect that squad a lot, and I'm excited to see them play because they're a great ball club, and these are the clubs that if you want to be known as one of the best teams in baseball, you got to beat clubs like this. So tonight is Anibal Sanchez up against Paul Maholm, and Sanchez was pretty good his last time out. See how Sanchez does against a pretty good lineup with some good right-handed pop in there. And then Game 2, Shitzello gets to go again on the national broadcast day on Fox. Hopefully he lasts longer than an inning this time against Chris Medlin. And then Game 3 is the featured games for Sunday Night Baseball. It's going to be Dougie Fresh against Mike Minor, and you want to talk about a guy that can just pitch. It's just Mike Minor. That guy has been outstanding. He was good last year too. He was really good last year. I think injuries hurt him last year, which limited some of his stuff. But man, he can just play. I mean, the Braves have just such a good team. They can pitch, lights out bullpen, a good lineup. I mean, they got a strikeout prone lineup. Don't get me wrong. Uggla's a whiff machine. You know, Justin can rack up the Ks. So can Hayward. So can BJ. I mean, they got some guys that are going to strike out. But they got a lot of pop and great pitching, and they play defense too. I like their squad, man. I really do, and I'm excited to see them. So, I tried to make this video short, but that failed. So, we're going already over 10 minutes. My fault. So, that's all I got for you guys today. Go Tigers, and I'll be here on Monday. See ya.